You have a man on there that's a real trouble living in his parents' basement. You have what house you selling if you don't got your own? Anyway, then you have you
Yeah, talk
realize
your
that?
shit, girl.
Then you have this other one that was proud to announce that his grandfather was a percentage
Oh, he
from
was
Africa,
burning me.
Ghanaian, and you went to go find it
Oh,
up and da 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 da.
just because he
And
got curly.
that's what's going on, guys.
So.
It's me, HadieLeonie.
And it's your girl, JojoRenée, and you are tuned into a new episode of Bite the Bullet podcast.
Da, 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 da.
It's so weird just ending it on podcast. But how you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm
You look
good.
good.
Thank you. So do you. Yeah, I don't know. The cold though, but
I feel like we're
good.
gonna start every episode
It's cold.
in this like quarter.
Yeah.
And into next quarter we're gonna be like the cold though.
But I feel like I just wake up and it was cold. No, okay. The rain was there,
Yeah.
but it was like a little chilly. And
Yeah.
now it's like cold.
Yeah.
Like,
need to wear gloves on my
I
bike.
need to wear my jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of weather.
I understand. You know what's funny? I still had hope.
For what? This
Like we
country?
would get some warmth.
Oh,
I don't know in my
wow.
head because even I was speaking to my sister and I was like, like summer really over. She was like, well, you thought it was going to continue?
Yeah.
And I actually thought maybe we get like
A
it
week.
does extend sometimes.
But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, how I did I was looking at my Snapchat memories and I found a memory where I was like, it's October 20th and it's 20 degrees. This was 2 years ago.
Exactly. So I thought that would happen again.
Yeah, but you know,
But we get shaft.
climate change and them ones.
I had a whole story, but
How
I forget.
you?
I good.
Yeah.
Oh, I started boxing and I sprained my ankle again.
What kind of vaccine? Just regular.
Just regular boxing because they have classes at David Lloyd and I have boxing gloves but I haven't been using them and I only boxed like once or twice, so I was like, let me go try this, and it was really cool. It was intense, but it was cool. But we had to do a circuit at the end and you had to do burpees, and I sprained, I don't know what it is, but it's not even my ankle, like the front of my
like under your chin.
yeah, the opposite of my shin. What you call that? Anybody know? Put it in the comments. Don't forget to
That's your
like,
calf.
comment, and subscribe.
I was
yeah,
your
for
calf
true.
was back here.
Yeah, your calf, your shin.
But you mean downhill?
So my lower shin,
your lower shin.
my shin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I bent it a specific way, and I thought I was gonna die. I even told them because we had to keep going.
Yeah.
I said, guys, I can't do it. And then the instructor watched me. I said, I swear, I'm not trying to get out to the exercise, but I really messed up my foot.
I feel like they don't take you seriously.
No, and he was like, just keep going. I'm telling you, I was fighting back tears. I shit, I was there just trying not to. I even look like one of them dogs when they start limping because one foot is up while I doing the burpees, and then you have to go into squats. And I squatted on my tippy toe on one foot. It was bad.
But he wasn't even going to let you look.
Nah,
let you,
but
like,
it's
tap
fine.
out.
I like that. Like,
I get it.
because if it was detrimental, I wouldn't have continued. I would have told him straight up, yeah, pech.
True.
So,
But we didn't talk about how I also start flag football.
Oh, yeah.
That.
tell us.
But that training is also very intense.
And it's outside.
Like but I realizing like I don't know if I can continue because I don't want to dread going somewhere. But I'm
Nah,
not
I
dreading
understand.
it. I'm dreading the weather.
That's true, but maybe it will help you adapt.
But I don't know. How I did it was cold, and then sometimes because it's like an hour of intense like actual working out training,
And
or
then
just
the
training
game.
like them like running and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And then an hour of the game. But when we're doing the game, it's like we swapping out. And then whenever we stand up on the
Okay.
sides, I just get so cold and be freezing. And I just
feel like that
don't
gonna make
like
you
being
sick.
cold. I
Yeah,
realized
no, I
this year,
understand.
and I at the age where it's like if I don't like something, I'm not doing it.
Well,
Like, I
good
can't
luck.
even
Good
waste
luck
my
with
time.
that. You an NL girl, but
I
mean,
know, but it's the
players-
weather for me.
yeah.
And the training is intense, but then I could get over that. I just be like, Katie. But I have those moments where I just want to tap out, and that
Yeah.
coach is a savage. Like,
But that's the thing with coaches. I've never met a coach that's not a savage. I've never met a coach who'd be like, "Oh, you're not feeling it? Okay, go sit down."
no,
Never. No. No.
I guess. Well, I never did like sports.
Nah, in
Like, this is
Silver
the
we used
first
from
time.
small. We had coaches from St. Martin, and they had a coach come to do judo, and I walked home from his class. I was so pissed. I think I mentioned this before. I was like 8 or something, and he put me to go up at spar or whatever. He put me to go up against the most athletic boy in the freaking class, and I'm here a lanky, clumsy little girl. And then we judo in, and he do something, and he twists my arm back. I said, nah, I'm done. I left the class. I actually walk out because the teacher. It was like 20 minutes. Okay. But Saber's a hill. That's 20 minutes. That's a hill of a walk. And I was 8. What am I doing? My father see me come home. He say, what are you doing home? I say, the bus comes in an hour. I'm not waiting. Yeah, I was a little princess.
True. I did tennis, but I feel like they were so nice.
The tennis people?
I did it by,
But was it competitive tennis? Like, were they preparing you? I feel like those just be nice. Like,
competitive tennis? I think you could just practice.
Yeah.
Some other competitive tennis. If they have
if it's a game, it's gonna be competitive at some point.
Yeah, but it used maybe, but like back then it was just used to go Rahul to just train for tennis.
Then
right?
that yeah.
But then I forget was it Les Brown? Yeah. It could have been Les Brown. But then after I went to, I think the name is Sprat. They used to teach at academy, or maybe they still teach us academy. But they were just so kind.
I love
and
that
like it was like a summer thing, like go there to do tennis for the summer and stuff.
The only time people was kind was when I went with my family to play badminton. And they still wasn't that kind. Like but we always was competitive, especially because every sport I played, we come SM to compete. So or Stacia. So
then it's more intense.
You repping your island, they gonna make sure you rep it good.
Yeah. You know what's finding so funny? Last night, because my friend had make birthday, and then they had like this bar outside by the house. So we went to like this Dutch bar. Yeah. And just to get
that's how you say it.
Because it's like
what do you call it? What's a crew? It's like
it was a crew.
Okay.
And the vibes was a little weird, but we just went outside and it was freezing cold. And then like they were so drunk. This lady comment on her name. Shout out to Tia. She come outside and tell us her whole life story, like how she was such a troubled child mentally, and just.
Was she also from the Netherlands?
But we connected on the fact that she grew up Groningen. She born and raised Groningen. Yeah. And then like she tell us her whole damn story and how she went to rehab and
Wow.
And then she moved down these sides and she worked for this oil refinery and and then she went back inside. I was so happy when she leave. And then this couple come outside and the lady, she was like Surinamese and she was just so happy. She was like, I so happy to see people with color here and And her husband was like, yeah, where are you from? He was like, St. Martin. And all night he like, are you from Sabre? Are you from Sabre?
What?
Yes. I was like,
what was
the
his
fact
name?
that you know, he was Dutch. He was a Dutch guy. But he keep referring to the SSS Islands.
And then
I
the Surinamese woman.
Like, just last night I hear SSS.
Wait, where was this? Like in Rotterdam?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. No, you know why I say that? Because there was a Surinamese woman who's married to a Dutch man and she used to live Sabre, so he knows a lot about Sabre.
No, she was born and raised here. Like she couldn't even speak English. Her husband was speaking the English.
Wow.
Like, she grew up Holland.
That's funny that he said, are you from Sabre? Because usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, but he keep forgetting that he was St. Martin. So he keep saying that we're from Sabre.
So
I was like, that's funny though. Because that don't ever happen. But apparently he like had no Sabre. So I
love that. Shout out to whoever you are.
I didn't get their names. But
that's fine.
Yeah. So it was funny. But I don't know. Dutch people just, it was entertainment to me.
Yeah. I find one thing I noticed. By the way, people, you know we in the Netherlands, right? I find a lot of people think we SM. Like I keep hearing it, but we not in the Caribbean. We are from the Caribbean.
But as people like realize that it's really just watch the socials.
Yeah.
Because if you're watching the episodes.
Yeah. Side eye.
We always talking about this country.
Like you should really get into the episodes because y'all be asking for context when there's a whole hour and change of context.
Or you should talk about this, what we have.
Yeah, we have.
To the episode.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Yes. Okay, but let's get into our...
Yeah, this week, this is what I was going to tell you. No.
I'm listening.
This week I was listening to the Receipts podcast.
Oh,
And then they was discussing, and we're going to get into that later, but it stemmed from Love is Blind. And then they was talking about, like, how some people just actually, like, pause their life. For man and relationships.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to talk to you about that and just like in a sense like really I guess that's being vulnerable.
That's
Like,
fine. We can get deep.
In the space that we is now, like how that has been for you.
Bye.
But I don't think you have ever paused your life for
No.
anybody.
I put off things, and I think you know
You
one of
just
them.
shelf it.
I shelved it, but I never, you know, it is. I've done a lot of stuff, and I never feel like I pause myself for a man. However, there's one thing I reserve for a man, and that's going to see the Northern Lights. You know, because I got the opportunity.
You did say that.
Shout out, moms. She's really upset that I didn't go through, but I got an opportunity to go and see the Northern Lights. But that's something where I want to really experience for the first time with a man.
But you didn't go to it.
No, we didn't.
Okay. Yeah.
Because anyway, yeah. You know the story, though. She was gonna surprise us, but yeah. But I think for me, it's more so I've seen a lot. Like I've traveled a lot in terms of seeing elephants and stuff. And those moments, some of them were so emotional, but also just so beautiful. And I've got to experience a lot of that with friends and family. But I've never got to experience something like that with a guy. And I would love to do that. So that's why I reserve in the Northern Lights. Yeah.
I don't feel like that's pausing.
No, it's not at all.
No, at all.
But some people say that, you know, like if you want to wear that dress, wear it. Whereas if you want to go to see something or do something, you should do it. You shouldn't wait on something.
Yeah.
And I think that's because I listened to it after you told me about the episode. And I feel like
you watched the episode?
I did. I watched 3 episodes.
The recent?
Yes, I did. That's why I tell you, I get him back because I haven't been listening to stuff. I just been doing my puzzles and there.
Jody have these glasses. You get them?
Guys, I buy these glasses. Wait, they called lazy.
Insert a picture though.
Yeah,
no,
lazy glasses.
That's work.
Kristen, I go show you too. And Larvall, they're funny.
And
I use it. It helps with your neck pain because I've been doing a lot of puzzles. By the way, this last puzzle killed me. It took me like 4 days.
The one with the
that one I finished. This one is like a starry night, not a starry night, a sunset type thing, and there's a whole line of orange and stuff. Mind-boggling. But puzzles teaching me patience. But where was I?
Lately you was watching the Receipts podcast. And
yeah. So I watch it, and I think one thing they say, you know, is like if you want to do something, just do it alone.
Yeah.
But I do understand people who reserve stuff for like.
But I find reserving ain't a problem.
No.
I find, and if I have to think of myself,
yeah,
I feel like I'm be talking for a while. But
that's
like,
fine. I'm listening.
Like I realized when I was like in my last relationship and even like the situation after that, I feel like I was actually like pausing my life for like the people.
Yeah.
I remember I had a time I was talking to my mother about the situation and I was telling her how much I was be on the phone. And she was like, you can't use that to work on your thesis?
Ooh.
And I was like,
call me out.
Like, but I don't know. And then I was really thinking about it deeply after listening to their podcast. And I was wondering if like I one of those, especially back then, women who I feel like growing up, like you really attach like being fulfilled as a woman if you get those things. So like a relationship. No.
Oh. Not even the thesis.
Not the thesis.
She checking like bun school. Man.
But you know, I feel like a lot of the times, I feel like we all women have different things that they want to achieve. Yeah. Some people is more ambitious. I feel like some women also feel really fulfilled and like content if they achieve like the baby, the husband, etc., etc. Yeah. If I have to think of myself, I feel like I smack in the middle. But like at the same time, I had periods in my life I realized where I was just really chasing one. And like putting my life on pause and forgetting the achievements in the other. Yeah. And I don't know, I just really look up to women. I think Shanika said on the episode where she's like growing up, she wasn't that friend. Like all her other friends used to be the ones who wanted to be in a relationship, and that was never something she like had craved for. And then I remember my little cousin said at like 18. I was so proud of her. I was like, why I didn't have that energy, like because we was in the beach, and I was like, you don't want a boyfriend? She was like, I see my friends in a relationship. Why would I want that? I was like,
that's me.
Talk your shit.
But I always feel that you have the 2 spectrums.
Who, me?
No, as in like in general. Yeah. You have those people like me, for example, who just say bun relationships. I gonna focus on myself, blah blah blah. And then you have those people who get into a relationship, for example, and it's a long-term relationship, and then they're so used to companionship in a sense, or just that level of like, okay, I have a partner, so you kind of search for that. So
I don't know, but I don't want to say like there's a specific way to be.
No.
But for myself, I realize I'm being most helpful to myself when I try to balance both. However, I know I have it in me to like really focus on one. And I think after that period, like when my mother checked me, and even Jody had checked me back then, like, and I had focus on myself. Yes. We're not getting to that.
Yeah.
When I had focus on myself and I finally graduate, we start the podcast, and like I realized now I've spent the time focusing on
both.
No.
Oh.
I've spent...
You see, I'm supposed to be listening here. I'm not doing well. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel like 2020... Let me start this. 2023. I feel like 2022, I was not taking men seriously. Like, I wasn't trying to be...
And I understand why.
At all. I was really just... And then 2023 came. I was really just kind of focusing on myself and work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But... I realized now, like the past year, I feel like I've been saying to my friends, like, I feel like I finally ready. And I was like, if I have to be honest with myself, I feel like we just feel desperate when we say, like, I would want a relationship, but we shouldn't look at it that way.
No.
At all. But that's definitely where I at right now.
Okay.
And I had to see this TikTok. I should have sent it to you, though.
You should have. It's fine.
But she was talking about this article, and I should have read it too, and I didn't. Where it was literally called The People That Quit Dating. And I was like, huh? And she was talking about, like, we don't talk about people that single, where we would be like, yeah, you're going to find love when it's your time, and da-da-da. She's like, that's good and all. But the reality of the situation is, like, it'll still be in the back of our mind all the time. Like, you could go to the grocery store and, like, lock eyes with this guy and then feel like, oh, this might be my person.
Side note, you see that whole flirting o'clock at Jumbo, where you got to get a pack of biscuits, turn it, what?
I saw. But you find, I don't know, and maybe this is my trying to get that, like, is it bad that like people really out here trying to be in a relationship, and
I don't think that's bad at all.
We just kind of package it or like call desperate, like this Jumbo thing.
Yeah.
Going to the supermarket and putting a where's crackers in your...
Yeah, the biscuit packet, you turn it upside down.
Yeah.
If you like are ready to mingle.
Yeah.
Which I think is innovative.
It's cute, but some people might look at those and be like, you that desperate to go to Jumbo?
I don't think it's desperation.
No. And it made me really question, like, if we're in a society now where it's like, if you're really ready and want love, that we see everything as like, I don't know, corny and cringe, and you can't be alone, and of course there's levels of that is the case.
Yeah.
But why people can't just be happy in that?
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a case of now there's more intention and more obvious intention behind things. I feel like with a Jumbo thing, for example, we never used to need that because people were outside socializing.
Yeah.
But I feel like now you can see people deliberately like putting themselves out there. So it's more in the spotlight.
Yeah.
And I feel like people could easily judge that because they could see it so much.
Yeah.
Whereas back then, if you're ready to mingle in something, you could easily, maybe not easily, but much easier than now, just go up to somebody and talk to them. But now, since it's so hard and since we get so disconnected, I think the fact that everybody's trying to be more connected, other people who maybe don't have the cojones to do that, judging it. But that's because we also have a culture of like judgment. Because I feel like, for me at least, and that's something I noticed, I haven't balanced at all.
You haven't?
No. I've been focusing on myself. As in, like, I would have moments where like, man, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think, especially because of how long I've been single, it's so easy for me to go back to, okay, I'm just focusing on myself. Like, even with dating and stuff, high key, I feel like I proper quit dating. But not even deliberately. Like, I didn't intentionally say I'm not going to date anybody.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not out here socializing, and that's my fault. Like, you know how I say, or when we saw the video about if you ain't outside and he ain't outside, how you going? That's really how it be for me. Like, I can't complain about not finding a man. Because I'm not outside like that.
Yeah, but you feel like, but I know you feel this way, like you would want it to happen actually. So you wouldn't 100%. Go to the Jumbo thing.
Not a
Or you wouldn't go on an app.
Nope. That's just not me.
And you just answer DMs sometimes.
I do, but y'all need to hold it down. Jesus. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kristen, can I put him on blast? You know, like, okay. Kristen, that guy send me a DM. This is what I say. You could be McDonald's and I'll be Nike. I'll do it and you'll be loving it. Are you dumb? For one, you calling me a clown? Like, I don't know.
I don't get the clown thing.
Because you say I'm McDonald's. I don't have a farm. Sorry. It just had me like, you could have come better than that. You could have come better than that.
I'm sorry.
Somebody said, I tell you this one too. He said, like, something along the lines of, I need to tell you something. Like, I need to, just some advice or something. And I said, question. Because I do answer DM, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I do, especially if it's interesting. The old McDonald one, I didn't answer. But
the other guy that also was like, you got no manners, something like that.
yeah, somebody said, last time I checked, or it's obvious that your parents ain't raised you with manners because you don't know how to answer. Yeah. Sir, if you're that upset, just leave. Like, I'm not entitled to answer you.
The funny thing is, though, the McDonald one was my fault. Because I think
that was not your fault.
Well, I feel like if you want to talk to Jody, talk to Jody. Don't come to me that you want to talk to Jody. So I was like, go talk to Jody.
No, but honestly, guys,
but
just
he's not the
general.
first one. He's the first one that probably actually messaged you.
No, but he's not.
People that just be like, yo, Jody. I just be like, what you want me to do about that?
And honestly, just a tip for girls in general, don't ever do that. Girls like it when a man could come out of his own will and his own, confidence to talk to her. Like, what are you doing telling your friend to come talk to me? Are you dumb? I don't even know your friend.
But you also look stupid. And
you look scared of me. You know, exactly. I don't like man that look scared of me.
Why would I go to Jody for you?
Anyways.
Yeah. But we sidetracked though.
We sidetracked. But with that is more... Wait, what we were sidetracking
You
though?
were saying that you realize you don't balance.
No.
And I was basically trying to ask you though that, like, if it don't happen naturally, I don't see you going out your way to try to find it.
No, and the thing is, you know me, I love and I do want to find it. I want to find it, especially before we blow up, because I want to find it from a place of he don't know me already. Yeah. I feel like with a podcast, I want a guy to be curious, and if he know me from the pod, that's fine, but it's gonna irritate me a little bit because you know how I think. I don't say everything on the pod, but people know us before they know us. And just in terms of dating scares me sometimes because it's like you invest in time that you essentially wasting at times. Most times.
Sometimes.
Did I tell you the date that I made him drop me home before we even start the date?
Okay, wait, this was a half an hour one?
Huh?
There was a half an hour one. Oh, this is...
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, I had a date and the guy came to pick me up. For one, he started off wrong because I had to plan where we was going. Sorry, I don't... It's a first date. Impress me. You asked me out. But anyways, so now we on the way and like, you know when you just know it ain't it? And he also mentioned he was in jail. I was like, not. For one, we on a first date. Why you showing
I
your
would
cards
want
like
to
that?
know it on the first
I
date.
know, but still, it just threw me off because it was unprovoked.
Yeah.
And then he was saying another thing along the lines of like, I really, really believe you should respect women. And for some reason, I didn't believe that he believed that. Like,
yeah,
something about it was off, and I was like, nah, this ain't itself.
Trying to make a facade.
Yeah, it was really a facade that you could see was like he slowly painting on that mask. And at some point, I watched him. I was like, bye. You know when things just don't click, this don't click. You could drop me home, please. And we had tickets, and I was like, you want to keep this as a souvenir? Like, excuse me? I said, sorry, I don't know how to deal with awkward situations.
Yeah, but I feel like I remember the time I was like, you did well. Because I'm the kind of person that would just write it out.
You know why I didn't write it out?
Why?
Because we was going to a digital museum.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I didn't want my first experience in that museum to be with him, high key. That was like, I've been so excited to go to that museum. Yeah. So in my head, I was like, I'm not going to ruin it. Cause I probably would have... No, I wouldn't. I can't help myself.
Yeah, I get that. But I guess I just look at it as another episode in my series of life. I guess, and I would have read it out to tell you the joke.
Exactly. But to end with that, I just feel like now I'm in a place where there is an imbalance. I feel the imbalance, and I'm trying to navigate the imbalance. Because don't get me wrong, being single is nice, but sometimes I isolate myself, as we know, and you could really feel like a level of loneliness. And I have my friends, but at the same time, it's just a case of there's certain things I want to experience, and I'm not desperate to experience it, but it's just a yearning that's inside of me, but it's not taking over me.
It's not desperation.
No.
That's how I look at it. I feel like I also feel the imbalance. But I the opposite of you, where it is try. Well, not that you don't try, but like I would go on the app.
I try-ish.
Even though I was like, it was on the app. But that's what I mean, though, on the app. And I guess on a deeper level, like, me trying, I feel like I'm desperate. Even though that's not what it is.
Yeah, it's just how society
And remember when in the summer episode, when I was, like, on the apps, I just feel like I begging. Yeah. Because that's generally how I feeling. And I don't want to feel that way. And I feel like you just go on there and then it's like you just fall. It's like falling and get back up in this the dating world. And I had my moments where I just was like, I'm going to stay down. Like, I don't feel like getting back up.
I got a bruise.
Like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah. I think it's like similar to how when a man really likes a girl, they call him a simp. Where it's like, that's just a basic thing that you do, and it should be seen as normal. Like, everything that we should normalize, they've now unnormalized. And everything that shouldn't be normalized is now normalized. And I think that's the issue or the disconnect, where it's like, for one, I understand why people say when you're single, don't be chased. Like, you don't constantly have to chase love, because it's a destination, but you don't have to keep checking the route.
But what is chasing? Because for me, and
centering men is a level of chasing.
Okay.
But I think other than that,
like the actual like pausing your life and things like that.
That's chasing.
That's chasing, I guess. No, it's never that. I feel like it's really trying to figure out the healthy balance with it, and just still trying. And then,
but is chasing also bad too? You chasing the bag? That's bad?
No, but don't be putting your life on pause when you're chasing. Because I feel like that's what I be doing. I feel like with the begging on the apps, that's chasing.
Yeah, but you don't put your life on pause.
No,
you're taking a risk.
I feel like that's why I really appreciate them. I guess the 2 years where I was just focusing on myself, because I realized, like, I put focus back into realizing who I am. So like, I don't think I'm gonna ever go back to that place where I'm gonna put my life on pause. Like, I don't have that in me at all anymore. And I mean, like, we have a whole podcast, so it's like, why would I ever put my life on pause and have to show up at work? So
unfortunately, that's mandatory.
That's something I gotta do. But I don't know. I was like really thinking about it, but I'm not gonna call it desperate anymore. And I'm trying to be comfortable with the sense of like, that's how I'm feeling. But then I was really thinking about it. I realized I was always that way. So like listening to like having a conversation with like Shanika and my cousin, I realized like that's a feeling I never had. I never had the feeling of like a relationship is not something I really crave to be.
And that's okay.
But yeah, I'm not.
Oh
like,
yeah. No, I just making sure you ain't, because the desperate thing is like, burn anybody who like talking on what you do in a sense. But
I was more so deep in that, like, from small, that's always something I wanted. And I don't know why.
Society.
But it could be. But I also feel like I grew up around a lot of marriages. And
makes
like
sense.
All my uncles, my parents themselves, and friends, like every friend I had at the time, like their parents was married. Like, I feel like I grew up with a lot of like households around me, so it's like naturally that's what you aspire, to be honest. And especially if you also grow up in the church and stuff like that. Now I know it's not linked to religion, but just
I know what you mean.
The feeling of that is something I want. However, was something I do realize, or this year I trying to grasp the fact of like, but what if it doesn't happen? And like that's the next, that to me, that was our next phase, which is what she was also talking about in the TikTok video, with like when the people that quit dating, some of them also just come to terms with the fact that you might not ever get it. And I know I would be okay. We said that with a Dano episode.
Yeah.
I know I would be okay, but I still ain't grasp, because I just feel like after everything I've been through, maybe to sound delusional, I deserve it.
That don't sound delusional.
Oh, but
Sorry.
you never know, because if you think about it, growing up, you had people like my mother had friends where it's like, when you think about it, they was never in relationships. So it's like you had those people, and it's like, am I going to be one of those people?
I'm so scared to become one of those people.
Exactly.
But I don't think I will be, because at some point I'll try. As in, like,
Johnny.
no, I think at some point, when like you have a life crisis and then you go do something and you get rich or some shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have a life crisis and I'll go do something and find a man.
And try.
But at the same, and try. Like, don't get me wrong. If people come up to me, I will speak to them. Mm-hmm. But I don't try, and that's because the balance is imbalanced. But I said I would be okay on Dano's episode, and I will be. But like a type of okay.
Yeah.
You know, because for me, it's a level of like, I want to experience that. It's not from a place of I've experienced it, and now I want to experience it again. I just want to freaking experience it, and that is okay.
But do you think, like, maybe this is a deep question? I would ask you this.
Ask me deep questions, girl. It's fine.
Do you think, like, it's because you never had it at the same time, like,
I don't yearn for it as much as I should,
but
which is why I don't try.
I feel like they could be both. They could be like, they could have both. There are people that never been in a relationship and they yearn for it because of that, or because they never been in a relationship, they don't yearn for it. And I just wonder which one it is, but sometimes it depends on your season, I guess. Yeah,
I feel like I've had tastes of it, so I yearn for the full plate. Like, I only had the appetizer. I want the main course.
Yeah.
You know, and I've only had the dessert. I don't want to just skip to the dessert.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm at, where it's just, I know what could come of what I haven't experienced, but the little stuff I experienced is something beyond maybe what I could even think because I haven't. And that's just something I want to experience.
I get that.
That's that. But I don't think anybody, like, I feel like anybody who is chasing, just like you're going to chase a bag, you're going to chase a diploma, chasing a man healthily is okay. But if you chasing a man to the point where you messing yourself up and you like disregarding your boundaries, your standards, and your value, then that's an issue. But I don't think chasing a man in general is bad.
But I do feel like a lot of us sometimes feel that way, and
it's because everybody on social media telling you for a man to chase you, and that's like there's so much noise we can't sleep. Like, it's a case of, I feel like this is a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But everybody emphasizing like the rules of what a man and a woman should do, or the 5 things you need to, you know. It's just that case of like there's so much outside noise that people don't know how to chase anymore even, or they don't know what is considered chasing and what isn't. And I do understand the whole case of like a man should chase you in a sense, because it's like they're vasopressing the courting stuff. But at the same time, you should chase back, just not chase more than him.
Yeah.
Can I give a quick input? So like, it's funny that you guys talking about this, because this morning I heard there was this video that just came by, and she brought a point up which I had never thought about before. She made a mention. I'm not saying that this is facts. It's just what I heard, and I thought it was a very interesting perspective. She said that romance and the things that we expect from romance from men is basically at the beginning of the patriarchy, because she made a reference to some show with like castles and stuff on TV, and how like the woman basically had to marry, like she didn't marry simply because she like loved the man per se. She married because that man's kingdom had more horses, had more like resources in order to protect her people and her kingdom basically, right? But then she made the mention that like, yeah, there weren't enough women to go around for all these men, so unless you were also a man with all these resources, there wasn't any, like, you would need to find a way to grab an attention. Why do you think like with the Egyptian queens, like you needed to like build all these like things to get their attention, because otherwise you wouldn't have been looked at. So she's like, so basically the romance of today is not necessarily like we need that for validation. It's because men that didn't have it at that time and wanted to be in a companionship in that kind of sense would need to prove to this woman why she should look his way. And I thought that was a very interesting way of looking at it, because I'm kind of like, well, that essentially means that we don't need to be romanced. What we're looking for the romance, we say, oh, we want a guy to do this. Is actually the guy is doing that to get your attention. That's not how we should be looking at it. We should be focusing on ourselves and making and building for ourselves, and then finding that partner.
Now.
But I think that's kind of linked to what I was going to say. Like, I don't think necessarily is because we're seeing all this noise online. I think like fundamentally, like at the core of it, back to the feeling that you feeling desperate when you want it. I feel like because it was never like women. I feel like men never, like they were talking about on the podcast, like a man like trying to get a woman is actually seen as something great. Because we would never see a man desperate, and they were saying on the podcast, we would never see a man desperate if he out here building castles.
It's true.
And like trying to get a woman, we don't package it that way. However, if a woman do it, it's like we in turn kind of programmed to feel desperate. And I feel like that is where my thing was coming from, not necessarily online, and maybe other people could relate to that. But I think it probably stems from a whole line of like history of the patriarchy as to why I genuinely probably feel that way. Whereas like I'm trying to get over that feeling of thinking like me trying to not prove, but me trying to like me just wanting that in itself is a problem. Well, it's not. You know what I mean? Especially if back in the day, like it wasn't common for us to have to prove anything or want something.
Exactly.
Because you would get it, basically.
But isn't it the patriarchy that makes you want to prove yourself? Yeah, because I feel like you thinking that you proving yourself is a bad thing is more Cleopatra times. Whereas now with the patriarchy, it's like women fighting each other to prove themselves to men. And I feel like that's a difference in a sense.
But to me, the patriarchy is so many different things.
It's true.
But I talking about like the like how we just sometimes call things simping now. Yeah. Back in the day, that wouldn't be considered simping if you're out here building a whole castle, like Kristen saying for people. Yeah. However, in the same time, like it's not that you're trying to prove that you want the man. I feel like I lose my train of thought.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Vertraging.
I had to get us so much. I just wanted to
you just lose the train. I just forget where the start was.
But I was trying to think what we were talking about the patriarchy.
Clench your face.
That don't help.
Oh.
No, I think because I trying to say that like them wanting to prove that they want you, like men in themselves, like that is never seen as something bad, and that to me is kind of linked to the patriarchy because men is never the problem.
I wouldn't say never, but seldom.
What do you mean?
Like they have it where if a man is proving that he wants you, that it's not seen as bad, but it's seen as like annoying or nice guys end last or he doing too much.
I mean, more so in the like if we're talking about the patriarchy, I feel like in general, whatever men do is never really scrutinized. So, yes, some people see it as sometimes they're being desperate.
Or simping.
However, in general, like, they're not really, like, not benefiting from that. They would probably disagree with me because I know a lot of men gonna be out there like, yeah, but when I really tried to prove that I want a girl, she didn't want me.
But that's just she don't want you. But you don't mesh.
We talking about the patriarchy. That's a whole systemic thing. So your one little experience is not what we're talking about. But and that's what I was trying to say. They were saying in the podcast, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Where it's like when a man ready to settle down, this is what she was saying, and find his wife, we don't look at that as you being desperate. Yeah. But if a woman out there saying like, I want my husband and I want my kids, we do call that sometimes desperate. Like, why you can't just go focus on yourself, queen?
You know my theory.
Well, yeah.
So from it, I think mainly because of just the whole culture of like men chasing women or whatever. It's just that case of like when a man is ready to settle down, is in his nature to go and find his wife, whereas the wife is waiting to be found, rather than the other way around where we could have it sometimes where if I'm ready to settle down, now I'm actively looking for a man rather than sitting in my settling readiness and waiting for my man to come to me.
But you feel like it's nature when you feel like it's unnatural when we go out and look for it?
For me, yeah, 'cause I don't try.
but you see, that's kind of what I'm saying. I feel like what you just described is the patriarchy in the sense of like however men go about it going to be fine.
But I ain't saying that's fine, no.
Yeah.
I more so mean it from a place of is unnatural to people, so they're going to judge it in a harsher way than something that seems natural to people.
Yeah.
Like, I think men going out and finding a woman and a woman going out and finding a man, I think both sides is fine. And I do understand men get less scrutiny for it. But that's why I was saying it's probably because people see it as more normal for a man to do that rather than a woman. Which doesn't make it like either side better or worse.
Yeah.
I just think it's how we see things.
Yeah. Which is why I try to say that, like, I feel like I've internalized that and be like, why do I feel a way about wanting to go out and try? Whereas, like, you do hear of women that just, like, I'm not going out there to go try to look for no man, basically.
I understand.
Whereas, like, I have the complete opposite feeling.
Yeah.
Deep
And I think just sitting that feeling and burn everybody else. Like, it sounds messed up, but for me, I have the same thing too, where it's like, I'm not trying, but I'm trying. As in, like, when it presents itself, of course, or when I feel a click or when I see something with somebody, cool, maybe I do need to go outside more than just the gym or like the grocery store, but that will come. And if you are trying, it's also a case of like keep trying. Like that's what I mean with a noise. I feel a lot of what I do, I not gonna lie to you, sometimes I could feel bad about it because of something I read or something somebody says on TikTok or something a friend even says to me.
Yeah.
And it's just that case of like, if you know innately, okay, cool, this is where I'm at, I want to find a person and I feel like I'm being pulled in a direction, just go in that direction.
Yeah. But like, and even in like the conversation of like trying, you feel like, we've talked about this before, like the non-negotiables and stuff. I feel like that's where that conversation come in of like, when do you know when to like
dip?
No, or just choose a person, basically. Somebody said something to me last week and I was just like, that's not it for me. Like,
what?
We was having a conversation about like relationships and there was like, basically, we were talking about somebody specific. They was just like, yeah, but they got a good person, so I don't see why they just don't stick with that person. And I feel like wording things like that it just have me feeling like, like
they don't see deeper than just the surface.
Yeah, but like that mean a lot of people, we said that before. I really like a lot of people don't. I know you should have you should be a little flexible with your non-negotiable sometimes if you read, and you have to be able to like compromise and those kind of things that we talked about before. Yeah. But I realize that some people really just give up the fight and fuck all the non-negotiables. I'm going to just, this is a person in front of me that
I'm going to settle.
This a human. I could do this. Like, and I don't want that to be me at all. But it just made me think.
You really checking like, nah, boy.
That's
but I
so
understand.
weird to me.
But that's the thing. That's what makes it so difficult, because we all in our standards and all of that stuff. And as a lot of people say, the market is shit, but I just think a lot of them stalls ain't outside. That's, you know, you go to the market and they got people with fresh produce, but it's in the fabric, in the factory or in the garden or whatever. It's not in where you could see it. And I feel like so much of these not traumatizing or just these situations is so emphasized because it's just really at the forefront. And that's the issue. But
I also realize it's like what we would consider healthy produce is like, to them it's just, even if it's produce, it's fine. Like that's how it's sounding to me. Whereas like I get, like I was thinking about it the other day, like something I would be willing to like compromise on is like, you don't gotta be woke. Cause
no, you don't gotta be woke.
But I'm very much like that, and I always wanted somebody like that. But it's like, as long as you have like, you ethically, like you're an ethical person.
You know, I feel like sorry. No, you can finish.
I don't know.
Okay, I can finish. No. You know why I feel like you don't gotta be woke?
Right.
I want to be able to make dark jokes and say dumb shit, but I'm still an ethical and morally okay person. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I grew up in a family where we talk shit.
But I don't consider that not woke. You could
but you have those woke people who you so woke.
That's policing. I'm not saying policing. I'm saying that if something come up that you have the mental capacity and range to understand the deeper meaning of all of that. That to me is woke. But you could still make the dark jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like, but I used to feel like you got to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Some people, they might not necessarily, like they see a news article, they might not necessarily think on like, you know, like, oh my God, like the
Oh,
statistics.
so you want
I
somebody
used to
woke?
really want that, like
Not
somebody
me.
who, but I come to realize, like, I would be okay if you're not like that, but are you willing to just at least like listen to the conversations?
Yeah, I want somebody intellectually
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But I don't care if you woke. As I guess that's maybe a bit controversial, but just you don't have to be on a side or know everything in a sense. If you have values and morals that are thing for me,
Yeah.
is more of a case of like you don't have to know that we're in the matrix and
No.
technology and this
No.
is not done this, you know,
Nah.
but you need to have a foundation at least.
For sure. And there are topics like not necessarily that you work on, but I do
Yeah.
feel like how you view it has to be in the same line
Yeah.
of like how I view things.
I understand.
Those specific things, but I don't mean that you go out there and like would preach it all the time.
No.
But I used to feel that way.
Okay.
So that's like, but those are things I went into bed on, and that's the things where it's like, but some people is like, you know,
no.
it don't matter what comes their way, you know?
Yeah, sorry for them though.
Yeah.
Because that's the case where like you go to a restaurant, you don't even order. You just let a chef give you the food.
Just give me the what?
Just give me whatever.
Whatever you have.
Give me
today.
whatever.
Yeah.
Nah.
But the scene is wild outside there.
It is wild.
And the whole reason this conversation started was because of Love is Blind.
Love is Blind is wild.
And I come to realize, like, if you ain't watching the latest USA season, at this point, I think they're just trying to milk this.
They're milking it.
What is called that?
The series.
This series, yeah. I was thinking of the other word.
But you notice that I noticed that with all series now, it's just being milked. Like The Circle was just milked. Everything is just milked. Nothing has substance anymore. It's just milk.
But I didn't even want to give them that much of my energy. But you telling me
No.
you have a man on there that's a realtor but live in his parents' basement. You have what else you selling if you don't got your own? I mean, then you have you
Yeah,
realize
talk your
that?
shit, girl.
Then you have this other one that was proud to announce that his grandfather was a percentage.
Oh, he
from
was
Africa,
burning me.
Ghanaian, and you went to go find
Oh.
it up and da 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 da.
Just because he
And
got curly hair.
I do technically, and this was funny. Like, remember with the Love Island USA version?
Yeah.
What his name was Connor.
Yeah.
I was watching it
Oh,
with
yeah.
Joy, and I was telling her, I was like, he have black in him. And she was like, no.
Yeah.
It was a whole conversation. I was watching it with you. I don't know. I can't remember.
You was watching it with me.
Yeah, and then she was like, no. And then like weeks later, she see this TikTok where it was saying that he does have a black father, and I had that with him. Forget his name from Love Is Blind.
Sheldon, Sean, something with a sh.
I could see the features.
Steven.
Steven?
He was with Marissa too.
I don't. That's a Cheyenne process.
Marissa,
Names.
he cheated on the girl.
Yeah.
Steven.
Yeah. I don't want to do any
Correct
spoilers.
me if I'm wrong.
But like, I could see the features, but to me, I was like, the fact that that's where you are, like, to prove that you have a percentage of Ghanaian in you.
That's
And then
one meme.
after they get outside of into the real world ish, like every conversation you have, you linking it to something sexual. It was weird.
Nah, but I
It was-
mean, look how. Oh wait, you saw all the episodes though.
Yeah.
If y'all ain't watch it and you don't plan on watching it, continue listening. If you didn't watch it and you're gonna get spoilers, skip. We have chapters. But
Yeah.
For me, I expected it a little bit because him saying that whole wild comment about now I'm gonna be more in the spotlight. So maybe
That's
a
what I
girl
mean.
might want to come and suck my
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, where we? And she sitting on there like, how we get here in this
How?
conversation? It was just given like those are moments where it's like I guess people will just accept this and end up in a relationship. But those are
She
moments
did
where I
it.
would back out. I would
Yeah.
back pedal.
Yeah, drop me home. Yeah.
Drop me home. But and I guess in those moments I'd just be like, I hope I never that desperate for it that I just see past that in a way.
I don't think you ever will be.
Nah. But
I think
never
at one
know.
point we maybe was.
I was.
Don't get me wrong. Man said
Definitely.
some wild shit and I
Definitely.
still was like,
And I was in it.
"Ew."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's wild. And then the one that take me out. But I feel like people spoiling stuff
I
now
can't
on
even choose
TikTok.
properly with my braces.
People spoiling stuff on TikTok though, but at the same time, like it make me I just realized what she's saying. It make me at the same time it did like make my experience better watching the last episodes that come out. Because
Yeah.
after the first 7 episodes,
Wait, they married and stuff already?
no.
Oh,
But after the first couple episodes, my favorite couple was Taylor and her name is Ashley.
Tim and Ashley.
It's
Oh,
Tim.
Tyler.
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 Then I went on TikTok and people was exposing this man left,
Yeah.
right, and center that he
Yeah.
had 3 children.
Yeah,
I
sperm
was
babies.
like, did he mention this?
Not at
So I was
all.
waiting on Wednesday. I was like, maybe something he mentioned in the pods, or we
Yeah.
just didn't hear it. And then I sitting on there Wednesday watching the episodes and I record myself. Because they had like 2 conversations.
Yeah.
Where did he like, we gonna get 7 kids?
You gonna name the boy, I'm gonna
You
name the
make
girl.
and then she was like, "You gonna help me with the wedding planning?" He was like, "He was like, okay, you could get a wedding if I get to name our daughters or the children."
And not once did
And
you
I know
mention.
I waited for him to mention it. I like this man. Really
By the way, I
mention-
have 3 sperm babies.
I have. Jody, they're not his sperm babies. That's
what
his
are they?
kids. That's what he tell her in the episode. But if you watch the TikToks where he
Oh,
exposed,
I ain't see the TikTok.
he has children with like he in their life.
Wait, no, but wasn't the woman married? And she.
That was his kids, and he actually have pictures with them.
And
as
I
in,
had
like,
hope.
in his life.
I was hoping that was another Brent and thing.
Me too.
Yeah, high key.
I don't think he's sperm though. I feel like if you give somebody, unless you have the deal where like you would give them your sperm, you would actually like still be active in their life.
Mm-hmm.
But he owe them child support.
That's
he owe the woman.
insane.
If you owe her child support, that mean they're not your
And you buying a ring
sperm
for a whole other
babies.
woman. That's insane.
That's not sperm donor
But
thing,
side
like
note,
activities.
this is a little off topic. You ain't think it's insane that Alex had a bunch of camera crew come in her house and it had looked like that?
Who's Alex again?
The girl with Tim, they had a fight. She put her hand in his face. Tim made her father cry.
And she come in her house.
Disgusting. Like, okay, look.
I
I understand messiness. Look, I get it. I just have my
Yes.
clothes about the place
Uh-huh.
sometimes too.
uh-huh.
For one, you know you on TV. You could have slipped out to the apartment that they give you and go clean up your house a little bit before
You think
the...
she's trying to sabotage it? Cause this man clearly tell you he don't like mess.
Yeah, he probably...
And
said-
you welcome the man into
But
a
yeah,
whole
she
mess.
looked like she went in her house and did this. Freaking hell. It was insane. And then she had a bunch of garbage bags.
And she had the nerve to be like, yeah, when I was packing, like, I couldn't find outfits. So this is
Packing
why
what?
You was going on Love is Blind. I know you ordered and
Guys,
planned them outfits.
you couldn't
sis.
see the floor of her freaking closet. Like, it looked like snow
That
built
was-
up
it
to
wasn't
6
just her
feet.
closet, it was her bed.
It was...
It was her bedroom.
It
But
was
at the
so
same
bad.
time, I was like, maybe some people genuine. Because she was saying that from in Cabo.
That she messy?
She was like, I am a messy girl.
Yeah, but she was saying that.
And
But
I
there's
don't
messy
think,
and there's dirty.
No. Yeah, but she was saying I'm messy.
Yeah.
She self-said that.
Yeah,
She's like
she
a
did.
difference between messy and dirty. I'm messy.
But I ain't gonna lie, that's diabolically messy.
That's
she ain't
next
mentioned that.
level messy.
When I hear messy, I think, you take off your clothes, you leave them there.
No.
That was
Same.
messy.
That was messy.
That was messy.
That was ridiculous. But I don't think she would introduce him to her father if she was like trying to sabotage.
And
But
I
then at
get
the
so
same time, I don't
emotional
know
with the
anymore
father.
with these- Yeah.
I get so
I cried.
emotional. And in my head, I was like, he ain't gonna even marry your child.
You don't
I
think so?
don't think they getting married. I think they could get married if they had time. But I don't think she gives me that she has the ick. They
In the
hardly kiss,
beginning,
which is okay, but still.
in the beginning, I definitely thought she had the ick, but most of the couples, I feel like they have the ick.
Facts.
I thought that the one before actually ended up cheating on her, I thought she had the ick with him. So I was like, I don't know why you that
she had the ick.
pressed.
She had the ick. She
had the
she
ick.
wasn't pressed, bitch. Those was alligator tails.
She
She was happy. She said hallelujah. She was like, he don't need to
had-
be in my life.
She had the ick.
I went to Cabo.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed my life. I enjoyed the free margaritas. He could dip. I good.
And then there's the bitchy Roman. I forgot her name
Hannah.
too. Hannah, I feel that you genuinely have the ick with
She
this
is a
man.
ick.
But
Sorry. I don't like her. She's mean and she nitpicks
but she's
everything.
one of those people that don't realize that they mean.
No.
And that's-
and her whole family do, which is insane.
Her brother was even there.
Her
Like, that's my
parents.
problem with her.
When your parents know that you a twat. Talking
That's
about
crazy.
parents knowing you're a twat. Marissa mother call her a whole bitch on TV.
That was wild.
That was insane.
But they're the only couple I have hope in.
They the only couple I have hope in. I am so sorry. Please don't come for me. But I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was swinging for the next team in the beginning.
Jody.
No, he's very flamboyant. I know. I could say stuff that's wild. Don't get me wrong. But he gave me the vibe of like me and him would be like, let me shut up. No, I'm not gonna shut up. He just very like flamboyant. Even how he talks, you know, in a case of like we just drag our words sometimes. He had just remind me of a friend, and that was that. Okay, let's move on.
You might get problems for that.
I don't get problems, guys.
Because I don't know. I feel like he was given the woke type. I
No,
feel
he
like those are
definitely
the kind of
woke.
men that just they don't believe in the patriarchy and
Nope.
yes, feminism, and they probably from California. That's all I
Yeah.
had to see him.
No,
It's
but
just he needs
in-
to get rid of those two damn
Those
blocks.
two dreads. No, but in the way he is, I didn't get that. It's more in his mannerisms. It was really just his mannerisms.
I don't
Like,
know.
you know how some men are flamboyant, which is okay.
Yeah.
That's just it.
But I feel like men who just generally don't subscribe to like masculinity and stuff like that, we just think they come across that way, but they're not always that way.
Yeah,
That's how I look at it. But they're the only couple I have hope in at the end of the day. And
I have hope in what's their name? The scientist people.
this man is about to
God.
pause his whole life for her. You realize that?
Oh yeah, because they move into San Francisco
But
and
this
some
man
shit.
about to sell his shares in his company that
Yeah.
he worked for to go move to San Francisco for this girl. You know her 2 weeks.
Boom boom turn up.
He get a boom boom.
I think so.
Hmm.
I think so. The only ones is Hannah. No, I think Hannah them do it too. No.
I don't know about selling my shares in a company and then go move to another state. For
Maybe the
somebody
company
I know for
doing
3
that good.
weeks.
Ah well. Moving on.
That's really pausing your life for somebody. Or stopping your life for somebody. But anyways, shit is wild out here. And this
Let
is
me-
the dating game.
We need a side note because we ain't do our would you
Oh,
rather.
no,
I was gonna do that
yeah.
in the beginning.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to say beginning, like actually say beginning.
Okay.
But it's messing me up. Anyways, beginning. Would you rather?
Tell
So
me.
would you rather always shout or always whisper? I always shout anyway.
I was going to say, I don't feel like I just talk that loud.
But what if you're in danger? Help me.
Yeah. But then I just, I just always... I call somebody.
That sounds like sleep paralysis.
Yo!
Yeah.
I can't even talk in sleep
I would
paralysis.
definitely whisper.
No, I think that's my biggest like
Fail?
nightmare. Not like whispering and feeling like I can't get help. That literally feel like sleep
Quiet.
paralysis.
I would
It's
just
when
walk
you're
around with a
dreaming,
bullhorn.
You know when you're dreaming and it's like you're trying to say something but you never had like
Sleep
type of
paralysis,
sleep
girl.
paralysis. But like, yeah, I guess that is sleep paralysis. But like, yeah. I thought that was just like a form of being in a dream and you want to see something,
But you
and it
can't.
not coming.
It's soft sleep paralysis.
it's a
No, that's
soft.
sleep paralysis.
I've had that
period.
in like it was a traumatic dream, but
Sleep paralysis.
yeah,
100%. Because it's usually traumatic.
yeah.
Okay.
But I would rather whisper all the time. Shouting,
Yeah, but I feel like I ain't gonna have no friends.
like the most basic level of thing you can be out there shouting.
You can make mad money on a ASMR YouTube account.
Whispering though.
Yeah.
I will walk around with a speaker and a mic.
I just love whispering.
Like the Whisper Twins. What it what you say?
Hey little girl, let me whisper in your ear.
Yo,
We should continue this episode whispering and then see how it goes. But you choose the would you rather. So now you have to comment. I'm not going to.
a whole episode whispering. That's insane.
But even just screaming, you be at the groceries, you drive. Give me 2 breads. Like, oh my god.
Yo, nah,
Oh.
that would be insane.
I just had a very nasty thought. Like, what if you're in the middle of, intercourse?
sorry. Nah, that would be
The
insane.
screams. And
That
some people
would
are
be
ready to
insane.
scream.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
She said she don't do nothing for her. But
I love spice, but me can't take her serious.
but you would really do shouting, no?
No, I would whisper because
Okay.
I need to learn to whisper anyways, and then I would just walk around with a mic and a speaker.
Exactly. That is the solution.
But I feel like you could whisper loud.
you can whisper loud. Dutch people.
Yeah.
I
High-key.
remember in school back in the day, that fuck used to take me out. I had this geography teacher, and then he ended up being like a team leader or something like that. Like, that used to irritate me. That we would have a test, and then like maybe somebody would come in, and then he would like, yeah, maar als je dat wil doen, da 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 da. I'm like, you're not whispering, meneer.
No.
Like I could hear you.
You just
the
have a-
whole class could hear you. Like that's how they just whisper.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. Well, you don't know.
It's fine.
But yeah,
Episode 40 something of Coming for Dutch People. Like, you apologizing.
true. That's true.
But yeah. No,
But
yeah, I'd
yeah.
probably whisper. Yeah, and then the mic and the speaker.
Things that was very loud lately that I just was very. I
Great
find
way
it
to
hard
pivot.
to grasp.
Yeah.
It's Philly.
This?
Young
This hit.
Philly. I don't even want to, like, I was telling Jody, like, if we're going to talk about it, I don't want to get into what he do, because once again, he's this full on trigger warning.
Essay.
I guess.
No, we have to use that word.
Yeah? So bleep that out.
Yeah, we gotta bleep out the grapes.
Grapes.
Yeah, but let's use essay because grapes still triggering.
Ah.
But yeah, no, he full on block airways. No
Okay,
problem.
we can
This
run
is
it
the
off
end
now.
anyway.
Yeah. We're not going to spend much time on
Since
this
it's
one.
the end anyway, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you.
Yeah. But I was telling Jody, I've never been so disappointed in a person I don't know in my life.
Yeah.
But it's weird because remember this year you was talking about him and I was like, I don't know how I feel about him no more because everybody online saying he a weird person.
Yeah, like a lot. He tries to humble a lot of women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the trend for a while on TikTok and people
Yeah.
was posting their experience. They would have this whole thing of women was just coming out like exposing their experiences with him.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was
That
to
bad.
this level. So when it happened, I was just like, 1 + 1 is 2.
And that's, yeah.
But damn.
But I feel like 1 + 1 be 2 a lot. And people just deny it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Look, I am very disappointed, especially because of everybody he's connected to. He's connected to Chunks, Nella Rose. For those who don't know Young Philly, he's a popular YouTuber. And now he also started making music. And his music was decent. There was bops. Like something I could go to the club with. And he also has a big following as kids. So that's what disappointed me the most. But it's just, you know, you're on such a platform where you have so much influence and just you could do so much, and what you choose to do is disgusting.
Like, I just make lesson plans around this man videos.
That's
like,
insane.
Just 2 weeks ago, the last time I do that, remember I tell you, just make my kids watch
Yeah.
Data Squad?
Yeah.
The last one I do was one from his channel. And it's just like, and then that day we end up listening to the song he dropped, Freestyle.
Yep.
And we was having a conversation if it's actually a freestyle.
Yeah.
And then it's just like,
But side note,
insane.
I don't think, like, I feel like, okay, a lot of people say, yeah, you know, call out your friends, and I think that's something definitely you should do. But I definitely think you shouldn't wait until they show blatant actions or like something that you really feel is okay, nah, this is bad, to call them out. I think there's micro actions that people could do where you could really see like, yo, what you doing now ain't even
Yeah.
cool. Like him humbling women.
But you see, that goes to show what people really find is morally correct and what they tolerate in friendships. Some
Yeah.
people genuinely like don't care if their friends like selling drugs. They don't care if their friends just beat women. They don't care if their friends
Yeah.
essaying women. Like, that don't have nothing to do with our friendship. Some people are genuinely like that. Or some people are hiding, and as I say episode there, that like some people are just also hiding who they actually are. Because I don't know. Because a lot of people online talking about like wondering how Chunks and Nala Rose and feeling. And one thing I do want to ask, like, people was like, why nobody wondering how the woman feeling? And I was like, nobody taking that out of the conversation. Like,
It's
I
just
really
we know
hope-
the people connected to him.
Not only that, like, I do hope the woman is good, but at the
100%.
same time, like, let's not let's be real, people are going to look at the whole group differently now as a collective. And that's a conversation in itself to have. And I guess that's what you're asking. Like, as friends, like, how do you call out your friends if you know they have certain behaviors?
Exactly.
But this is next level behavior. It's like, that makes me question your morals and
I
values.
think this is definitely one of those situations where where people really need to stand strong on like what their morals and values are, because it's definitely the Sagittarius moon in me where I'm really 100% about the truth and what is my truth. If I have a friend or somebody in my circle who's doing something that I think is not right, I will most definitely bring it up, and I bring it up to them personally first before actually probably taking it up a level. But a lot of people don't want to do that because a lot of people just genuinely feel like they shouldn't, only God could judge me, right? Most people just want to be like, you know what, that's them, let them live their life. As long as as they're not doing anything illegal, then it's fine. And I think a lot of these people that act this way benefit off of the idea of like joking, so that people think like, they just kind of covering the tracks. Nobody really thinks that it's serious until it actually comes out that it's serious. And I think that's when people, but that's when you really need to be in on your morals and your values, because if you see that person acting like that and you bring it up to them and they don't stop, that's when you need to draw yourself from that situation. Because when shit does hit the fan, pardon my French, then you will just be lumped right into that whole group.
But my question too, with regard to that is like, and this might be a difficult question in a sense, because you could remove yourself from the situation, but then how do we do something about it? If you understand what, as in like, I guess, yeah. If you have a friend who's like doing stuff that is not morally right, and you speaking to them about it, and they're not really showing any improvement, like, what do we do from there, in a sense of like, how do you go about? Yeah, but then they stuck in those ways, and it's not your responsibility to save
everybody.
No, it's true, but I feel like with me, what I like struggling with, in a sense, is like, there's so many situations, I guess, where people either letting people do things or they remove themselves, but there's no middle ground of like, okay, let we really now take out this whole thing of them being a friend, or just seeing them as like, okay, this person needs help, and actually try to help.
I would think that as friends you would try, but if you try and there's that didn't help anything, I feel like at a certain point, like, you didn't raise them, you're not their mother, you're not their family. Like, I could only do what I could do as a friend, and then I would still back out. Like, I feel like we're grown adults at this age. If you can't come to like have discipline, or just know not to be putting your hands on women, why is that my duty to help you do that? I find that's wild.
I guess for me, I just see it from a place of like, as much as we could say we are grown adults, I feel like a lot of people don't think like adults, or a lot of people don't think in a way that is logic or morally correct. And it isn't our duty to help, but I feel like if there's somebody I've been connected to, or like a friend, I wouldn't say now I'm still their friend, but I think there would be a part of me that would be like, what can we do to like just prevent this, or change this belief or action or whatever? And not only with regards to what Philly did, but just in general. Because I feel like a lot of people, their moral compass is not always in the right place. And a lot of it stems from like your past trauma, whatever. And I just feel like if everybody says, okay, I'm getting up and leaving, then nothing really happens.
You mean like at the end of the day, like the people still out there doing what they do?
Yeah.
So they're not helping anyone?
Yeah, like that's where it's like you have the two spectrums. You have either people who just laughing, kiki, and like, or maybe turning, an eye to it. Or you have the people who dip. And I just mean like, I don't really see much of a middle ground. I'm not saying we have to be the middle ground, but I just wondering if there could be a middle ground.
I guess it depends what we're talking about. Because if we're talking about, for example, essaying in general, the problem is as a society, we don't take that seriously, period. So like, there's only so much they could do. There's not a rehab to put men in to make them stop essaying people. So to me, it's like the only thing you could do is have that conversation. And if that don't help anything, that don't help anything. There's not anything you could do about that. But to me, like, if, I don't know, there's other things that you could kind of talk about, and maybe the person could change. But I don't know, like how much you could do when it comes to topics that the world in itself don't take seriously. And then
True.
I don't know. That's how I look at it. But I still feel like it's not my. I don't know. I do feel like there's difference in like putting harm, like causing harm to people. And there's a link with that and growing up and realizing like that's not something you should be doing. Especially if you look at a lot of videos that they just be talking about and how they just be speaking, you would know, he know better. So then to me that's just you using, once again, we talk about this before, your power as a man or however you see yourself, I guess, to do what you want and take advantage of women. And then to me that's just like on a deeper issue, like you need to work on yourself, and I can't help you with that at the end of the day. And I'm pretty sure they probably had those conversations that you need to do something about yourself. Yeah. But if the person ain't gonna get up and do that, that's not my responsibility anymore.
Nah, I hear it.
That's how I look at it. But at the same time, like how they have an entire business together, it is more of a responsibility because it's like you're aligning yourself with this person. Yeah. So I don't know.
I feel like with his case is the last case. In a sense, like I think a lot of people lose respect. Nella's very vocal about her views on men who do stuff that he did, and she don't stand for it. So I don't think there will be anything from there. And for me, when I speaking on the whole thing about like helping, he can't be helped now because what's done is done. Yeah. But I just mean in general, like even just from a place of just misplaced values, let's say. But yeah. Song of the week before we dip, y'all.
Oh, I had Malika X Friday. It was like a remix, but it's with Tenny and Friday, basically.
Okay. And for me, it's MMS with
Ashake.
Yeah. Okay. I was hearing that song. I said, I ain't gonna lie. I asked Larvall for a recommendation, but I forget what you had said. Something with pussy. Oh. Wow. But yeah, guys. These last episodes have been quite deep, but I guess that's because what's going on in the world is very deep. And yeah, I would just say if you take anything from these episodes, like if you see anything that's just not morally okay, speak about it. I feel like a lot of us are afraid of confrontation, and it's okay to confront things, especially if you stand on them. And yeah, let's all just brace for the end of 2024. Yeah, bye. That's all I can say. Amen. And thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next time
on Bite to Bullet. Bye.
Bye.